I'm so glad to be with you again. I've been coming with you for so many weeks, so many months, several years, and here I am again to talk with you today about the kind of day it is. You see, I received a letter the other day from an old friend, a friend of long standing. 6 years we worked together in the same church in Wisconsin, and we write fairly regularly to one another. He began this letter by quoting a poem. The poem that some of you will recognize, "Oh, what is so rare as a day in June?" And he mentioned as he began quoting the poem that some grade school teacher had taught him the poem. That's why he still had it in the bank of his memory. Well, the first thing that strikes me about that is this. I wonder how many young people today, how many boys or girls in grade school or junior high school have a teacher who makes them memorize poetry. That man, who is now somewhere in his mid to late 70s, is grateful still for that school teacher who caused him to memorize a poem. I concur with that feeling, and I'm glad that that school teacher did, because it made him begin his letter to me with the poem. I can't quote the whole poem, but I guess all of us, well, maybe not all of us, a lot of us remember that classic beginning line, "Oh, what is so rare as a day in June?" This is a day in June as I'm speaking to you now, and it's not the kind we think of as being so rare, in that it's a drenching rain a good share of the time just now, so much so that I chose to drive an automobile from one spot on the campus to the other to keep as dry as I could on such a day as this. But that, first of all, of course, is part of the secret of the wonder of a day in June or a day anywhere else in God's good economy of the weather, because it's this kind of day in June that makes the next day look so beautiful in the depth of the green in the grass, or the bluegrass as they say here in Kentucky, and the general vibrancy of the earth around us, just because there's been a good heavy rain in the month of June. I think of it also because my friend writing those words to me was writing them from northern Wisconsin, where a day in June does not mean the same thing as it does here in Kentucky, from which I speak, or from Florida, another of our campuses of Asbury Theological Seminary. But there's something about a day in June that works almost anywhere in the northern hemisphere, because it's the year at its best. Not too hot and certainly not too cold, just a lovely day. And so when we speak about a rare day in June, it fits almost anywhere. But you see, the quality of the day has something to do with just beyond just the weather itself. There's so much promise in the month of June for people in the northern hemisphere. We know that in the month of June, we have the best of the summer ahead of us. At the very time of the first 2/3 or 3/4 of June, it still isn't the longest day of the year. And so you have that anticipation that the days ahead are of length of daylight and of special beauty and inspiration. But beyond all of that, I think all of us will acknowledge, whether believers or skeptics, whether cranks or joyous persons, that what makes eventually a day to be a good one is the attitude we bring to the day. And that attitude has so much to do with the relationship we have to God. And from that relationship to God, the relationship we have with people, and indeed, beyond that, the relationship we have with our own soul. The day and its beauty in nature goes a long way toward making it a better day for anybody, whatever their state of mind. But the state of mind has even more to do with what happens with the weather. Some of us will remember a favorite movie of a generation or two ago, in which Gene Kelly went dancing about the street, dancing in the midst of rain, and sang as he danced, singing in the rain. When you're happy, you want to sing in the rain. If you're unhappy, well, even the best sunshine won't quite do it for you. The state of mind has so much to do with the rareness of a day in June or in December. And the secret above all of that, please, is the beginning point, our relationship with God. Granted, good circumstances, good weather, good things outside can help any day to be better. But only ultimately the state of our relationship to God can shape the weather around and all the other stuff of life and make of it the prospect and the wonder of a good day. I wish for you that kind of day, whether it's raining or if you're in the other hemisphere, snowing, whether it's June in your life or November. God bless you. May the grace of God be with you. There is no rareness about a day like that. We can have it every day. And I want it so for you and for me too. That's what's on my mind today, and that's what I'm happy to say to you. Thank you now.